Thank you.
So now let's jump back to Rosemary. Rosemary, good afternoon. Good to have you with us. Thank you for joining us. We were a little bit ahead, so we put Gary ahead of you.
No problem.
But good
That's
to have you with us now. Now, you've got two submissions this afternoon, one on the LTP and one on climate change. That gives you 6 minutes in total, and how you manage that 6 minutes is entirely a matter for you. Thank you.
Kia ora koutou. Thanks for hearing from the community. My name is Rosemary. I live in Redcliffs. I've been here about 5 years. I spend a lot of my voluntary time on supporting community groups, particularly in the area of sustainability and climate change. And so that's one of the things I'm passionate about. So first on the long-term plan. Have we got the plan right? I'm disappointed at the quality of savings in the operational costs, especially like many others, the 5% cut across community grants. And one of the major thing that I'm concerned about is that our systems are so cumbersome, including this kind of process, that our ability to respond to rapidly changing circumstances that are going to be coming at us in terms of climate change is, I just think we need to look at that kind of area on a high level. How do we keep in touch with the community but remain flexible? One of the things about budgeting is the cutting things like parks budget and some community grants. I'm involved, and I mentioned that further down, in a group of people, probably about 20 people who have just started looking to actively engage with Barnet Park, regeneration, weed control. You might have heard from other people about that. And here's a group of 20 people ready to put heaps of voluntary time in, but we need a little bit of staff time too to do plans and to assist in that. And I think cutting can be short-sighted. With regard to libraries and services, I'd just like to see the cost-benefit analysis. Personally, in our area, in Sumner Library, I personally don't disagree with the cutbacks. I think we're an incredibly privileged area that can manage our library hours. I don't think that's true of other people. I feel like other people have mentioned this 15, 20-minute cities. I feel we need to make a higher level commitment to that kind of development of villages so that we can be more climate friendly in the long term, that we're focused on building those communities and getting around those. I cycled here today. In the last year, I've done 5,000 kilometres cycling around Christchurch instead of driving. And I'm mostly on good cycleways, and it's fantastic. The more there are, but my partner won't cycle on cycleways on the road. A little thing which is adding value for money, the Rod Donald Banks Peninsula Trust, the little bit of funding in there. I think it's a little bit like Gary was saying around the red zone. I think that trust, you get a hell of a lot of bang for your buck for what we get back in terms of access to parks and walkways through smart investment in community projects like that. Because of our ecological and climate change emergency, I am concerned about our budget for biodiversity, planting and maintenance, and especially in partnership with community groups, so we can once again double that amount. And I think that we need to find better ways of communicating around setting our budgets earlier than this process, through a residents' forum or some other citizens' assembly, whatever it is, get some more people involved earlier in the process. I say something about bus lanes, and maybe that's going to come back to the to one of my. I've mentioned, yes. Okay, so one of my main things is that, and this is to do with climate change as well, or maybe in particular, is that I, as a council, as a ratepayer, I want you to pick up this challenge of working together. I hate the nitpicking across here. I want you guys finding a way to work together to address this huge thing that is coming at us. COVID is nothing compared to what's going to come to us, to my grandchildren, to your children and your grandchildren. And to me, we need a team that is ready to respond, that has the structures that can do that easily, and a way of keeping in touch with the community. That's important too. But instead of this, I want us all looking in the right direction to change the way we're living. So in my climate change thing, we're not ambitious enough. I'm anxious about this council's political will across the board to actually have a go at it. And actually putting it into place is the next big strategy, and I think it needs all of us to do that. And it needs strong leadership and collaboration with other community groups, other business in Christchurch, and that's me. Boom. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much. That's left time for a question, if there is one. Does anybody have a question for Rosemary? Anne.
Thanks, Rosemary. Just some examples of better ways of doing this, you know, hearing from our community rather than this. What do you think?
Well, I think there are some models out there, and citizens' assemblies, forums, getting some other key stakeholders around the table earlier. Yep.
That often involves people coming to us. Is there sort of any ways that we could go out to?
They can be anywhere, can't they?
Yeah. Okay, thanks.
It's a strategy and a commitment for us to work together to do that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great, thank you very much indeed. Thanks for taking the time to come along and talk to us this afternoon. Thank you. So next